Hi, I'm Pastor Ronald Allen. I pastor Sonic Community Church off in Peaceful Valley Road. I'm married, been married 56 plus years. I have 3 children. They're married, and I have 14 grandchildren and 5. I started here 19.
Okay, so I think today what we're going to do for questions.
The cafeteria was on the bottom floor, and it's right across from where I think the health office is. It used to be in that room there. They had long tables with benches on them. We all sat on the benches eating our lunch. We went through the cafeteria in a line. We had trays. We had to pick up our trays, and then they would hand us our food plates. The food, for the most part, was good. It cost us 10 cents a ticket back then. So, I'm going way back, but it cost 10 cents a ticket. Mrs. McCardle was the head one of the cafeteria at that time. She used to dye her hair a different color every week, just so that the kids would ask her, "How come you got that color today?" And she always made us laugh when she gave the answer. It was just funny stuff. But all the ones that were in the line that gave us their food, we had to pick up our milk and our silverware. Then we got our dessert, because it went backwards from dessert to the main hot plate. And usually we had some kind of a protein in the meal. And on Fridays, it was always hot dogs and beans. My favorite subject was none of it. I'm joking. I really didn't excel. If there had been a special ed class, I probably would have been in it. So I had special tutors that taught me after school. But I really liked reading, writing, and I liked to do the mathematics, which was add and subtract. I was pretty good with division, but not so good with. I was on the basketball team, second string, for the 4 years, from junior high school until graduation. I played soccer. I was on the baseball team, second string, and that was from 9th grade through graduation. We did gymnastics. Now, probably you're not familiar with gymnastics, but in the gymnasium was on the first floor also. And there was a balcony onto the second floor, and we did hand-over-hand climbing. We did where you got one hand on one and then you let go of it and grabbed another with a swinging rope. We had the high bar. We had the balance bar. We had the still rings where you grab a hold of them and you did different types of twirls and things on that. And they had where they did the gymnastics sports show on an evening where the families came in and watched us perform. Had a trampoline too. Of course, that's outdated now in the schools because it was too costly. School building, when I was here, was the original brick building with one addition on it when I started. All the rest of these additions have been put on. All the rooms have been changed. Everything seems to be, I would have got lost if she hadn't have brought me. Well, we started by getting on the bus. I lived on the Garnet Lake Road. We were the last ones picked up. And it took us about 45 minutes to do the route and come down and get off here. And I think we started school about 8 o'clock. And just before we started any classes, Mr. Walton would come on the speaker and he'd say, "Now we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag." And we all stood up and faced the flag and did the salute and did the Pledge of Allegiance. Then he had a prayer that he read for the whole school. Now this is on the loudspeakers all over the place, and that one. And he'd say the prayer for the whole school for the day to start, and then our teachers would have us all sit down, and then we'd start our schoolwork. Well, when we were in fifth grade, the fifth graders all went to Fort Ticonderoga as a day trip, and that was always special to, I think, every class that was before me and every class that was after me. That was exciting. In elementary school, there were times when the teacher would have us put on a small skit, and then we'd go down in the gymnasium, and they had a platform we walked up on, and we would do the skit in front of the whole high school and grade school.
You can share.
Well, I remember that all the holidays were special in school. We didn't always have vacation on the holidays. Like Valentine's Day wasn't a vacation day, but that was like in grade school up through until about sixth grade, we always passed Valentine's cards to the members in the class, and I would go to the store and pick out a bunch of Valentine's cards, and the other kids would do that, and then we'd sign each student that was in our class name on them, and we'd pass one out to every one of the students. And then we used to have, I think you still do, but we had Thanksgiving week off, we had Christmas week off, and we had 2 days for Easter Sunday off. We had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday off. I think those were the major holidays.
Okay.
I had 3 favorite teachers. Is that okay?
Yeah.
My first grade teacher was a Mrs. Johnson. My second grade teacher was Mrs. Shields. And then I had a teacher, Mrs. Stewart. All 3 of them were teachers in elementary school that would allow us to stay after school with other kids like us they would special tutor us. And they did this without pay. They took their own time and sat down and tutored us without pay from anybody. It was part of what they did because they wanted to help us to keep going ahead in classes. Did you see? There was Mr. Riley, John Riley, Mr. Ray Robinson, and Mr. James Jordan, those 3. They were special because they did the same with all of us that needed a little extra help. One was the librarian, and I always chose books that were like car books, horse books, and she realized that that's what I was checking out each time we were in a library. And one day she come to me while I was checking out books, and she says to me, there's shelves and shelves of books. Now you need to graduate from these few books here and go to other books. And she got me interested in just plain reading any kind of book that was available. So library was important to me. Riding a school bus. Clifford Cross was our bus driver, and he was a pleasant person to be the driver, but he didn't allow for any shenanigans to go on. And the school bus had one straight seat in the very back of the bus, and Rusty Lee Sr. and I, we sat in the back seat, and Clifford would keep an eye on us because we always were fooling around, and he would tell us to start numbering on a piece of paper and count from 1 to 100 until we got home. And that was punishment for being naughty on the bus. And it didn't matter what age group we were, it went all the way through, even seniors. So in the wintertime, we didn't have school closing that much in the wintertime because our older buses seemed to tolerate the snow better. They were standard transmissions, and most of the bus drivers knew what gear to keep it in when they were going uphill and how to keep it from sliding off the road downhill. I think that's about it for writing. When we were on the playground, there was a lot of fun things that we did. That we would go out on the playground, and the playground was out the back door. It's all level out there now, but it was out the back door, and there was a high-rise bank. You had to walk up the bank, and then it was leveled off. There was a set of monkey bars. You familiar with that term? And then there was a spin around where you stand up on it and you just start it going, and then the faster you got going, we had one of them. There was a slide, and you could climb up the slide and slide down it. Those were fun times. And then we did a lot of hide and seek and things like that. That's fun things.
Okay. Who's the next?
When we were fifth graders, and then we went on a senior trip in our senior year to Washington, D.C. for a week. And we had to earn money from the time we started school. We had fundraisers all the way up through until we got into 12th grade. And we earned enough money, and they hired a big, gigantic, transport bus, like the Greyhound or those kind of buses.
Did the whole school go?
Huh?
Did the whole
No,
school
just the
go?
seniors.
Just the 12th graders.
Yeah, just the seniors that were graduating. Yeah.
Okay.
Our school teacher actually in class taught us art. We had a special period where we did drawings, and we learned how to do cutouts and different things in elementary school.